Hi friends, this is DaintyTank. Thank you for joining me. Welcome back to Lock and Key, a magical girl adventure. This is part 2 in our series. You can see here on the right hand side. Last time we were playing, we got to meet our lovely magical girls who were getting older. All on the cusp of losing their powers at 30. And 2 of them are in a relationship. Yay! So we're gonna hop back in. I am very excited to just jump right back to where we were. The Cohen household. Alright, so last we left off, Nina was the pop star who can teleport and had all of the energy. Anyway, now that I've pretty much solved your case for you, I think it's about time to hit the road. My producer is going to have a heart attack if I don't tell her where I am soon. Don't forget to cut me a check once you get paid for catching this dude, though. You don't need it, pop star. Kealey, sweetheart who can turn into like a little pink goo slide under and is a professional cat burglar. As she should be. You don't want to stay for dessert? We have some cake in the fridge. Nina smiles and shakes her head, standing up and stretching. Save a piece for me, okay? I'll come back for it. Come back by for it when I can. She pulls us both into one big tight hug, as warm as ever. I love you too so much. So much. And don't you forget it. I promise I'll come back real soon. Ya better. Didn't even have a chance to paint your nails. Soon, babe. Cross my heart. And then our main heroine, Sherri, who is a detective by trade and is solving a lot of these murders, and one looks to be kind of very suspicious. Just make sure you let us know before you teleport in here. That's never gonna happen. Married couples need their privacy, believe it or not. She steps away, adjusting her hair. Gives us one last wink. Thanks. Dink. No promises. And with that, she's gone. As quickly as she arrived, Kealey takes my hand and leans against me, looking at the spot where Nina was standing just a moment ago. She seems like she's doing well. A lot better than she was last time. Definitely. And you weren't kidding. She really is a shot of espresso. So, you're wide awake now? I lean down and kiss her forehead, wrapping an arm around her. Very. Come on, let's go upstairs. I can stand to unwind a bit before bed. Kealey raises her hand to kiss mine, kissing me gently. You don't have to tell me twice. Oh, you guys are so cute. It's not like we haven't done this before, but it's quite I can't quite shake the feeling that we're doing something wrong. Are we still talking about the same thing? It's okay. You're allowed. You're a married couple. I'm sure you've done this plenty of times. I'll have us inside in a jiff. Oh, you're doing something else. Okay. Why do you lead me to believe, game, that everything is surrounding the activities before bed? Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I'll have us inside in just a jiff. You watch. Kealey's confidence brings a smile to my face, even as we're standing outside a crime scene in the early hours of the morning. Oh, got it. I haven't seen an officer on watch, but there's no doubt that one is somewhere close by. Even though we're hidden, I'm still on edge. Don't worry, we'll be in and out before you know it. She squeezes my hand, interlacing her fingers with mine, in a gesture that always brings me peace of mind. Whatever's got me so on edge tonight feels a bit further away. Aww. You're cute! Once we're at the front door, Kealey's form falls away and she oozes beneath it. A moment later, the door clicks open, and there she is. Told you I could get us in. I never doubted you. She knows I never doubted her, of course. I haven't doubted her abilities for years now, but the smile on her face makes it clear that she appreciates the affirmation, as you should. And if she's happiest, then so am I. Yes, indeed. I think it's more like you're trying to go for a front tuck now that I'm looking at you, Sherri. But as soon as we take a few steps into the entranceway, the smile fades. Kealey stops in her tracks and takes a deep breath. I don't like this. You feel something already? There were definitely signs of a struggle in here, but this isn't where he died. It's faint, but this aura. Something strange. Let's keep moving. I nod, though I'm worried. Kealey has such a talent for sensing aura, so it's no wonder that she sensed the dangerous vibe immediately. But even though my senses have always paled in comparison to hers, I should at least be able to see something. Have my senses really degraded that much? I know I only have a year until they're gone for good, but even now I should still be able to pick up something if I focus on it completely. Is it because of whatever's strange about this aura? I shake my head, dismissing the conjecture. That's not what matters right now. No, it's not what matters right now. Don't worry about your abilities. Worry about, the dread sense that your wife picked up. Ooh. Instead, I lead Kealey to the living room and point out where the body was. Right here, wife! Look at that! He was dead. Super dead. Right there. I touched it. I touched the body. I know I'm making fun, but honestly, it's fun to poke fun at things sometimes when there is an absurdist element to it with thinking about magical girls and magical realism here. It's long gone by now, and the police have cleaned up most of the blood stains. They do? They have? Why? Why are they guarding it if they've already cleaned up most of the blood stains and they gathered all the evidence they're going to gather? Usually they just drop it. Unfortunately, it still reeks of detergent. Still, Kealey doesn't need to see another corpse. Just because I've gotten desensitized to them doesn't mean she has. She's always been the more empathetic one. I touch dead bodies. Is this the room? This is the one. He was on the floor near the ottoman, as far as I could tell. He was injured somewhere else and then pursued through the house until he succumbed to whatever was chasing him in here. That's horrible. What a sad way to die. Her foot taps against the floor, betraying an uncertainty I know all too well. It's a telltale sign that whatever she doesn't understand is making her nervous. I step forward and put a hand on her shoulder, hoping to calm her down in a way I always do. I don't like being here in the middle of the night, nor do I like putting Kealey in danger. No, but you're both here doing exactly that. But I couldn't say no to her about something this important, and she was probably like, you know what we could do? Don't worry about boning. Bone me later. We're gonna go. And we're gonna break it. I love it. Hey, we don't have to stay if it's skeeving you out. We can leave. Kealey shakes her head. It's not that. I don't think I've felt energy quite like this before. It's new. New? I mean, all consumed are different, but there's something really off about this one. It's not normal. So there's no question about who did this, then. Or what. The serious tone in her voice worries me. We've dealt with particularly strong ones before. Not like this. Even the powerful ones felt familiar. The consumed all have similar energy, just like magical girls. But this, it doesn't feel like a consumed. Not entirely, anyway. I grasp her hand in mine, returning the squeeze from earlier. Even if I couldn't tell what she's sensing, I trust her in every step of the way. You guys are cute. Whoa. Teal. Kealey closes her eyes to think of the air around her, billows in soft, soothing waves. I don't know if it's a side effect of her powers or simply how I feel about her, but it's immensely calming to be next to her while she works. My shoulders sink, my muscles relax, and my head clears. It's magic of a different kind. And whatever this thing is, it's definitely gone. Long gone. It's long gone. That much I can say for sure. Spirit reflection told me the same thing. It's been at least 24 hours, probably more. Kealey looks at me, confused. No, it hasn't. If that was the case, then the aura would be completely gone by now. Then that must mean it came back! Dun dun dun! I don't understand. A normal human might return to the scene of a crime, but the consumed are like animals. Why would one go back to the same house they'd already attacked? Doesn't make any sense. Could it have come before the attack too? Would it be intelligent enough to scout the place out first? No, that's ridiculous. I'm getting way too far ahead of myself here. Just gotta focus on the now. I'm going to check through the other rooms to see if there's anything else I could pick up. You gotta be okay down here? I'll be okay, babe. Promise. I'll see if I can find anything I might have missed. Just let me know if you sense anything dangerous, okay, babe? Be safe. Don't worry, you worry about me. I still remember how to kick ass. I know, baby. I know. Aww. She trots upstairs, leaving me alone. There's not many personal effects left in the room. Anything that looked to be even remotely useful has been confiscated by the cops. Doesn't leave me with much to work with other than the furniture. Might not be much, but anything counts. Let's see. Brush my hand to the end of the couch, trying to find something, anything of clarity. Hold up! You could touch things other than the body? And you weren't doing that? Just saying. Okay. Some visions of a restful morning. A day spent empty, then a struggle. Something knocks the couch off kilter. Then it ends. Nothing useful. I take a moment to rack my brain about what exactly the man was running from. A shadow? A person? Nothing big enough to toss a couch around, but big enough to scare this guy senseless. It's no good. I just can't see it, no matter how hard I think. I can't seem to gain any further clarity with reflection. Yet another sign that Sherlock Cohen's detective powers are on their last legs. It's frustrating in the moment, but that thought leaves a part of me feeling relieved. Another sign that it's time to move on from this job. To move on from picking up the pieces. To move on from the obligation this power brings. That doesn't sound bad at all. It'd certainly mean getting a little more sleep at least. Cher? Aww. Kealey calls me from upstairs, still doing her best to keep her voice hushed, and in case the patrolling cop decides to make their way back here. Yeah, what's up? If you're not busy, would you mind taking a look at this? I heave a sigh, giving up on searching for clues of my own. Here's hoping Kealey's search has gone better than mine. I head upstairs, peering through the different rooms of the house until I find her in what looks like a study. Kealey stands in front of a row of shelves, looking at something on the top. Hey, babe, what's up? This. Here. Kealey points to a framed photo. Within it are a man and a woman, looking happy together. Judging by the hair, the man must be the victim. He looks so different in life. Do you think the girl is suspicious or something? I wouldn't know, but don't you think she looks familiar? I swear I've seen her before. Like on the street? It isn't too far from home. Maybe we've crossed paths. No, it's not like that. Maybe we met them at a party or something? The man had the picture too. He seems kind of familiar. You don't recognize them at all. Not off the top of my head, no. I tend to look away from anybody else and not pay attention just in case they die and I have to touch their body. I'm sorry, I'm getting morbid. I'm a little off today. But now that she mentions it, something about the two people in the photo does seem vaguely familiar. Maybe I solved a case for them? Or had one of them as a peer reviewer in grad school? No, that's not it. God, this is really bugging me. Me too. I'll at least take a picture of it so we can look it over at home. Haven't found anything else up here, and there's no point in standing around in the crime scene trying to figure out what we maybe had a brunch with someone. The problem, there's too many brunches. It's gay brunch day. Gay brunches, they outnumber so many. Oh, if you are new to the gay game, you will do brunch. Just make sure you don't get your phone confiscated outside. Pictures of stuff in here could potentially be incriminating. Kealey chuckles and gives me another confident grin. Share Bear, there's more than enough incriminating evidence on this phone as it is. I'm not worried about it. Share Bear? Oh god, don't tell me you've been taking pictures of empty saves again. You can't prove anything. And you say I'm the troublemaker. Kealey raises her hand to stop me, eyes suddenly going wide. Sweetie, can you feel that? It only takes a moment for me to register the sensation. This time, there's no doubt about where this particular aura is coming from. It's consumed. Through and through. Where? Kealey closes her eyes and sniffs lightly, as if she were tracking it by scent. A couple houses away. Doesn't seem particularly strong, but... Sounds like a job for the current crop of magic girls, then. We should probably head out. I guess so. Kealey sighs and looks down at her feet. I know she's got that warrior instinct, but that isn't what we came here for. Not like it used to be. Sherri, I know that at our age we're supposed to let them take care of it, but maybe we should just drop by just to... Suddenly you hear a sharp, piercing scream. It sounds young. Too young for us to ignore. But before I can even utter a word, Kealey's opening a window and jumping outside. I follow suit, dropping to the street and running after her. I guess she's not the only one who held on to old instincts after all. I mean, yes, but you also left the crime scene open. Just kind of a thing. Kealey leads the charge as we rush to the spike of magical energy, spurred on by another monstrous roar. All I can do is offer a silent prayer that will make it in time. You won't get away with this, fiend! There, down that alley. She skids right and I follow. We don't have time to travel far before we see it. Oh, a grotesque mass of tentacles and eyes, the entire width of the alley bursting forth from a human torso, two of its appendages in the process of wrapping around its would-be prey. Oh, it bursts out of humans? Is it consumed like in a human? No, consumed. Oh. Get out of here! It's not safe for you! Despite the creature getting the upper hand, the girl calls out to us in a familiar protective tone of one of its city's guardians. While it's a little bit disconcerting to recognize that the girl is barely a teenager, Kealey and I know better than anyone that magical girls can start young. It's not just the outfit that gives her nature as a magical girl away, it's the fact that nobody else would be able to prioritize the safety of bystanders while they were in that position. But we're no ordinary bystanders. I glance over at my wife, who looks back at me with a determined smile. Use it or lose it, right? I nod and give her a thumbs up in return. Yes, let's kill the tentacle monster. I guess it's time to shake the rust off. Ready when you are. I close my eyes, readying myself for transformation. Here's hoping I can still remember the words. Kealey's hand finds mine and we begin. For the sake of the world, we will be its guardians. Let our spirits shine through. Don't tell me. Ah! Yes! Yes! Oh my god! Yes! The familiar glow passes through my body as I'm lifted off the ground, light bursting from within me and spreading outward. Our clothes disappear, swiftly replaced by our old uniforms and the cascade of ribbons and magic. I'm surprised it still fits. My revolver appears in my hand as I drop to the ground, my body brimming with power. Prepare to face justice! Kealey drops down next to me, her whip snaking out of from her hand as we open our eyes. You will not escape our judgment. We are magical girls! The girl screams go quiet as she stares at us in disbelief. The consumed, too, has frozen as it looks towards us with surprise. Definitely wasn't expecting two full-grown women to be ready to fight back. Kealey charges down the middle, trusting me to follow her strategy. We don't need words to work together. Our minds can align perfectly at a moment's notice. Another perk of working with your wife. Ah ha ha! I dodged to the right, towards the wall, jumping effortlessly up to the 3rd floor of the building, landing on the fire escape. Holy heck! Consume doesn't notice my maneuver. It's my animalistic mind still focused on Kealey as she swings her whip in front of it. I can't see her face, but I know she's smiling. Judgment Cage! Entwine him! She swings her whip down the middle, thorns ready to slash the monster's hide, but it doesn't move away. Instead, a sickening laugh erupts as Kealey launches her whip forward. It slaps the whip away with one tentacle and shoots another toward Kealey with frightening speed, its tip sharp enough to pierce straight through her. Bad move, monster. Very bad move. Kealey shifts in an instant, making a hole in her abdomen. That the tentacle passes through without so much as grazing her. Get ready to fire! The reduced mass of the torso wraps up towards her arm, extending it up forward and flashing the whip past the consume's grip right where we want him. Yeah! When I pull the hammer back, the chamber of the gun fills with brilliant light. 6 shots are more than enough. Kealey's whip encircles the monstrous mass. It moves with a mind of its own, binding its tentacles to its chest and tying its legs together. Judgment Cage never fails. Now it's my turn! I fan the hammer as I fire... fan the hammer. Nice. As I fire 5 more times, rapidly releasing an arc of holy spheres towards the target. Whoa! That was awesome! The shots sink into its flesh, filling it with light from the inside out. It manages to let out one more pitiful scream before exploding into brilliantly shining dust. Yeah! Elimination complete. With its mission accomplished, the gun fades away. It always comes when I need it, but there are times when holding on to it would only make things worse. The last thing this kid needs is for someone to point a gun at her. I hop back down to the alley, landing without a sound. You! The girl is standing with her back against the walls, eyes wide as she stares at us in shock. It's okay, honey. You're safe now. You're alright? Who are you? I kneel down to her level, offering her a reassuring smile. I don't want to baby the kid, but I know Kealey and I both want to help her out. We do what we can. We're magical girls, same as you. We just happen to have a little more experience. I stand, offering a hand down to help her out. After a moment, she takes it and slowly stands up on shaky legs. I'm Sherri. This is my wife, Kealey. We used to patrol around Navy Pier back in the day. Would you mind telling us your name? The girl opens and shuts her mouth a few times before finally managing to speak, her voice barely above a whisper as she stares at the ground. Ruby. My name's Ruby. It's very nice to meet you, Ruby. Do you want us to help you find somewhere to sit down and rest for a while? Or call you a ride home? She nods, leaning against the wall to steady herself. I'd like to sit down. There's a coffee shop around the corner that should still be open. Would you be comfortable going there with us? We'll understand if you're not. I know we're strangers and all. Ruby finally looks up at us with wide eyes, clearly still in shock. But through that expression I could still see a muted fire in her eyes. She'll be okay. Even if you're strangers, I know you're not bad people. Bad people don't get to be magical girls. The conviction in her voice makes me grin. Rookie or not, this kid's heart is in the right place. A few minutes later, we're back in civilian clothes and relaxing with our drinks. Coffees for me and my wife, and hot chocolate for Ruby. Do you feel any better, honey? Ruby takes a long swip of her hot chocolate and lets out a shaky breath, leaning back in her chair. I'm no worse for wear. Thank you for your kind assistance. Her voice seems to have taken a deeper cadence without warning. Exchange a wordless look with Kealey, who gives me the slightest of shrugs. No problem, Ruby. You just take a couple more minutes to relax and then we'll call you a ride home. You need not refer to me as Ruby, ma'am. I have another moniker I use when speaking with fellow Sister of Justice. Do you now? Indeed. Now that we've become more acquainted, you can call me. She moves her arms in a confusing flourish. Nightshade. Oh, that's amazing. Yes, you are Nightshade. Kealey and I share an awkward look, trying to think of an acceptable response. This is definitely not what I was expecting. That's a cool nickname. Alias, sweetie. It's an alias. How better to strike fear into the hearts of our enemies than a name that resonates with the powerful energy of the night. Yes, Ruby. Nightshade. Nightshade. Right, yeah, of course. Powerful energy and all. I think that's a great name, honey. You do? Her voice returns so high-pitched we heard during our battle. She really is just committing to a bit. That's respectable. Because, like, I spend a lot of time thinking about it and stuff, and I have a bunch of other names that I like to use, like Dark Moon or, like, the Nightbringer or stuff like that. But I thought this one was best, so her eyes go wide, and she clamps her mouth shut, suddenly aware of what she's doing. When she speaks again, her voice is back to her Nightshade tone. Anyway, I believe the Nightshade suits me best, and soon all the consumed in Chicago will learn to fear my name. That's very nice, honey. Totally, you got this. Just make sure you're realistic about what you're ready to take on, okay? If we hadn't shown up, that consume would have seriously hurt you, or worse. Oh, it was no trouble. I'm certain I could have gotten the upper hand sooner or later. However, having help from some veteran warriors did make things much easier. I try to keep my temper even. Remembering how much of a hothead I was at her age, even every win made it feel easy, like I'd take on the world until I couldn't. I didn't want that for her or anyone else. Ruby, we're serious. That consumed was way too strong for you to be taking on alone. How long have you been a magical girl? Ruby mutters an answer, barely audible over the coffee shop ambience. It's been, 2 weeks. Oh, 1.5. Oh boy, that wouldn't do at all. And have you had any prior training, spending time with more experienced magical girls? She rolls her eyes, no doubt tired of lectures from adults. I get it. But this is a lot more important than a talk about curfews or whatever it is kids get talks about these days. You elders. Well, benevolence taught me how to fight and use my powers. Didn't take long for me to establish myself as a hunter of the night. That's more than enough to slay the consumed, yes? Smaller ones, yes. But you weren't dealing with a small one, honey. Something like that needs teamwork to take down. Ruby pouts. Looking frustrated, her Nightshade persona slips again. Then how did you learn? You fought them while you were still young, right? When we were still young? I'm only 28. Looks like I'm not the only one trying to keep my temper in check. Kealey can get a bit insecure when she's stressed out. I'm sure Ruby didn't mean anything by it, but it's better to mediate things just in case. She just means that when you were a teenager, baby. Of course, you're still young. Thank you. Kealey huffs and takes a long sip of her coffee as I turn back to Ruby. And to answer your question, Ruby, we learned by training. First by honing the skills Benevolence taught us, and then eventually learned new techniques from other magical girls as well. Knowledge is passed from generation to generation, then honed with teamwork. That's why magical girls are drawn to other magical girls. The two of us and our friends work together to develop efficient combat tactics, like proper positioning, the right balance between offense and defense, and what parts of the consumed tend to be weak points. That's all about teamwork. Being a magical girl is the group effort. Surely a team isn't absolutely necessary. Nightshade moves in the shadows and strikes unseen. A team would announce that presence. Plus, I'm not like super great with people. Sometimes. So that's what's going on. I'm sure Kealey already noticed as much. She's practically psychic when it comes to figuring out what's going on with people. Me, I'm a lot slower as a judge of character. That's nothing to be ashamed of, honey. Believe it or not, I was the same way. Really? Really? I didn't have any friends before I became a magical girl. Just sat in the back of class in an oversized hoodie and tried not to draw attention to myself. Then Benevolence came to me, just like it came to you, and offered me the chance to do something more with my life. I was nervous about teaming up too, but once I met Sherri and our other two teammates, we fell into a rhythm right away. I feel it's not as hard as it sounds. You make the choice to become a hero, so you've already plenty brave. There she goes again. Her pep talks are as legendary as ever. Ruby takes a long sip of her hot chocolate, lets out a deep sigh. Would you mind be willing to, like, help me, maybe? Help? You mean find a team? I mean, we're a little out of the loop when it comes to stuff like that, so... No, I mean, like, help me be a magical girl. Oy vey. Oy vey. I was afraid she might say that. I get why she'd ask, but... I look over at Kealey, hand to her chin as she thinks about over Ruby's request. Surely, she must have expected the same thing, but she seems more intrigued by the idea than I am. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. It's in her nature to take care of things, after all. You want us to train you? You don't have to, like, give me lessons or anything, but maybe you would be able to watch you two hunt or something? Would that be okay? Well, about that, we're actually retired. We haven't fought a consume for years. Sorry, but we're not the hunting type. What do you mean? We just fought one. That was an exception. If we hadn't heard you two nearby, we wouldn't have sought it out. Oh. Ruby looks down, defeated. I can't help feeling like a jerk for shooting her down like that, even if it was just telling the truth. Maybe you could at least give me a bit of advice? I'm a fast learner, honest. That way I could catch up with everyone else? Her voice is quieter than before, still doing her best to show conviction, but struggling to assert herself. I feel even more guilty. This is the kind of thing I'd be happy to do when I was her age, but I doubt I could even offer much help now anyway. I look over to Kealey to see that she looks even more guilty than I do. When she looks back at me, her eyes are wide and practically pleading. It's like she's asking if we can adopt a cat. I sigh, looking down and then back at the kid. Well, I guess giving you a few pointers wouldn't hurt. Ruby instantly perks up. So does Kealey. You mean it? Yeah, I think we can do that. I don't remember too much about what we really set in stone back then, but we can tell you about some tactical considerations and weaknesses you can exploit, that sort of stuff. And it would be a good chance to try out the magical girl themed workout regimen I was telling you about. She plays it off as a joke, but look at Kealey's grin tells me how excited the idea makes her. No way does she want to stop at tidbits of advice. She really wants to train her. Training a rookie magical girl. Honestly, that might be just the thing she needs to help her feel better about our time as magical girls running out. I hate to admit it, but part of me that can see the appeal as well. Passing on our knowledge to another generation does sound like something close to closure. Or at least a bit closer to. No sense thinking about that right now. Just need to focus on what's in front of me. I mean, if it wouldn't be any trouble, then if it's okay, like, I guess lessons might be okay. We could try it at least. Nothing major though, okay? I'll be our very own after-school program. Have fun! Ruby makes another strange gesture, no doubt reaffirming her nightshade persona. Indeed, with wise teachings of my elders, I can gain the strength I need to be a true warrior of the night, a guardian of our fair city. I'm officially making our first training rule that you can't call us your elders. My mentors? I think that works. Kealey nods, takes one last sip of her coffee, finishing with a satisfied awe. So, shall we make contact using the existing group chat, or would you be working independently? The what now? Ah, I see. Ruby pulls out her phone and opens up some messaging app I've never seen before. I lost contact, interest in things like that when AIM shut down, so not sure if plenty of apps like that. My fellow warriors of the night have a GC. Group chat we use to coordinate our attacks on the enemy and observe rather than participate, but it's quite helpful when it comes to logistics. Or at least, the very least, to ensure none of them interfere with my mission of the darkness. So you do know other magical girls? Well, I met one who sent me a link to the chat, but only once. She was nice and all, but she didn't understand my nature. As dark-shade, I mean. Well, isn't that interesting? It would be very helpful to have something like that when we were more active. Wouldn't you agree, dear? I shrug, finishing off my coffee as well. Does seem like it would make more sense than just talk on the phone. But what do I know? Hey, if it works, then it works. Probably something we'd need a bit to learn, though. Perhaps it would be better to simply communicate via text, then? She puts her phone away, no doubt surprised by her ignorance of whatever app that was. You know how to text, right? Yes, I know how to text. Kealey leans over to whisper to Ruby, but she's still loud enough for me to hear. She didn't until a few years ago. You're kidding. Look, technology is my thing, alright? I'm fine with whatever we had back when we were kids. We had text messages, sweetie. Ruby laughs at that one, shaky uncertainness gone from her voice. Looks like our job is done. Let me give you your number. Figure out a training schedule soon, okay? Okay. I mean, very well. I look forward to mastering the ways of the night with your assistance. Glad to hear it. She's quite the interesting girl, no doubt about it. Odd for sure. But every magical girl is odd at that age. We certainly were. Do you need us to call you a ride? I'll be fine, ma'am. My home isn't very far from here. Just make sure you're careful on your way home. No fights, okay? Very well. Even the most tireless of night warriors must rest from time to time. Yeah, exactly. I get up and pay for the three of us, tossing a few bucks left in the tip jar. Behind me, Kealey and Ruby swap numbers and say goodbyes. Always been good with kids. Mom energy, I think Nina called it. And who knows, maybe it'll help her figure out how she feels about having kids of her own someday. And it's like not like we haven't talked about it before, but never mind. Now isn't the time. Aw, take care, Ruby. See you soon. Kealey nudges me and mouths Nightshade. Take care of yourself. And you as well, my mentors. I look forward to the beginning of our training post-haste. With a final wave, Ruby leaves the coffee shop and disappears into the night. Well, that wasn't how I was expecting tonight to go. Is that a bad thing? I guess it could have been worse, but I do think I'm done with surprises for the time being. You and me both. Gonna be out like a light as soon as we get home. Kealey chuckles and kisses my cheek, taking my hand in hers. We chuckle in unison as we step through the doors and start our new journey home. Definitely time to be done with surprises for now. Still, for a night where we plan to solve a mystery, I feel like we've been left with significantly more questions than answers. And not just about Ruby. That consumed was dangerous, but there's no way it was the locked room killer. Something that far gone couldn't even open a door normally, let alone sneak through a locked one. So why did it just happen to show up when we were investigating? Was it drawn to the energy Kealey felt? Or could it have been some kind of lure? A distraction meant to pull us away from the crime scene? It's a possibility I didn't consider, not just because it's needlessly paranoid and yet another sign that this case is messing with my head, but because it means that there's something larger at play here. Hey, babe? That aura you felt at the house, that wasn't just from the consumed we just took out, was it? No, it wasn't even close. In fact, it wasn't even close to the aura of any consumed I've seen before. So what do you think it was? Something new. Probably something dangerous. I nod, feeling the paranoia spread through more of my mind. I'm already way too old to be handling cases with magic involved. But something tells me that this time, I don't have a choice. Reach the end of the demo! Character profiles are now available. Thank you for playing. Thank you for making. That was Lock and Key, Magical Girl Mystery. This is the demo. I can't wait for the full game to come out, because this is awesome. I love the style. I love the story. I love the character setup. I hope you've enjoyed this too. Please come back. Leave comments down below. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye!